In the beautiful country of India, at the dead center, there lies a city called Nagpur. And in the depths of Nagpur, an entity was born 4 years back, and we called it LMB. But with due course of time, LMB died a slow and painful death. But today, on this special night, we are resurrecting LMB for one special, very special event in the life of thousands of people across the country who has their love for professional wrestling. So let me introduce our very special guest, who happens to be the newer generation of LMB, and he is coming in from the Blue City. He is a Warangal warhorse, weighing in at 187 pounds. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, PLN Shastri.
Ladies lose sleep all the way I look, and men lose sleep all the way I hook. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and girls, my name is PLN. So, Ayan,
Yo.
what's today's video is all about?
So, I would like to talk a little bit about a legend who has touched all of us in a very PG-13 way, and he is John Cena. As we all know, as of today, we are recording this on a Wednesday night, and just a few days later, on Saturday, John Cena is going to play his last ever match for WWE. Now, some retirements feel like paperwork. This one feels like a childhood eviction notice. One day you're shouting, "You can't see me" in school corridors, and next day you're filing taxes and watching that same man exit in the ring forever. Time shows no mercy, it only just upgrades the trauma. So, today, through our discussion, we would like to pay a tribute to a man who has been the face of the company for so many years. We are going to discuss and go down the memory lane about how he has had an impact on all of our lives and some of the special moments that we have shared with him. So, PLN, tell me, what are the most favorite moments that you have of John Cena, and what are your personal connection with him?
Okay, so before we dive in,
Oh, fuck, man. This is called education. This is what LMB is all about. It's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
okay. So, the ass kicking anthem, heavyweight of bantam, holding camps for ransom, and the microphone phantom. Word life. This is basic thugonomics. Okay, so how about we do this? Okay, like I'll like quote one favorite moment of mine, and then we proceed with one favorite moment of yours. And
Yeah, we can do it back and forth. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
yeah. So I'll go by the chronological order. So 2006 WrestleMania was my first wrestling show that I watched live on television. So there was this neighbor of mine, Rushil. He introduced to me like on day one itself. He did let me know that the whole thing is predetermined, but it's fun. So I don't precisely remember this event happened how many months after that. But like I did not really understand the essence of this event up until years later. So the event was ECW One Night Stand 2006. Okay, so Rob Van Dam won Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, and yeah, RVD, and he claims that he's going to cash it in at his home in the ECW arena, and then the match is like the stage is set for the match. So Rob Van Dam enters the arena, John Cena enters the arena, and sadly for John Cena, a lot of my favorite moments that involve John Cena are where he gets his ass kicked. So, so I was one of those who used to chant Cena sucks most of the time. But at the same time, I love John Cena. Come on, man, who does not? So he comes in, the crowd boos him like hell. And you know that, right? Like usually he takes off his shirt and then throws it into the arena. He does that 3 times, and all the 3 times the t-shirt is thrown back into the ring, and then he gives up. He's like, no.
One of the
I'm not
earliest times when John Cena actually gave up.
actually give up. Yeah. And the only part of that whole match which I did not like was that Edge interferes in the match, which kind of makes Rob Van Dam's win look a little, incomplete. And they do that just to further the rivalry of Edge and John Cena, which, by the way, is a very great rivalry. So, and to John Cena's credit, somewhere right at the start, he understands that this is a crowd that wants to boo him. And this is a crowd that badly wants to see Rob Van Dam walk away with the title. So, like, he starts playing a little bit of heel, and he does not let his ego come in between. So, yeah, that was one of the favorite moments of mine of John Cena. So, your turn now.
But that is what has defined John Cena over the years. The thing that you mentioned about having zero ego. John Cena has always been the face of the company man, about which we will talk about a little later. So, since we are going through the chronological order, I would like to mention a particular feud, which is, and the most fun part or the most interesting part is, for me, I have grown up, like my childhood was the Ruthless Aggression. I didn't grow up with the Attitude Era. So for me, they started from Ruthless Aggression till what we have right now. So, in the early 2000s, uh, the one of the biggest stars in WWE was the rated R superstar Edge, and I liked him a lot. I liked his philosophy. I liked his persona, the character that Adam Copeland was playing. And with this guy, there was the Cena versus Edge feud that started in the early 2000s. It was just pure hatred and pure heat, and it felt personal right from the start. So, Edge didn't fight fair and never pretended to. And John Cena fought straight and paid for it every time. Cash in, steals the matches, steal ladders, beat triggers. And this
John
was the
Cena
kind
was
of
the
violence.
victim of the first cash in, right?
Yeah.
In the bank. New Year Revolution.
And this kind of feud and the kind of violence, it made the title matches feel dangerous again. And Edge felt like you can call him like a thief who kept stealing the future. And Cena felt like inevitably chasing him down. And every win felt temporary, and every loss, felt explosive. So this feud or this rivalry, it taught an entire generation what a true villain felt like, and that villain was Edge. Not cool, not ironic, just hatred. And John Cena had this, innate ability, like he was such a person who will improve or enhance the performance of the people that he's working with. And in corporates, these are the kind of people who everybody loves. And so Cena was that face of corporate WWE. You book him with anyone, you will see the quality of matches that come out. So as we are going through
To
2000s,
forget, we had a half decent match with the great Khali.
yes, and
Very
he knows Hindi, by the way. He knows.
And
समझ गया, मैं देखता हूँ, समझ गया. And Khali was, you saw that promo, right? Just before SummerSlam. It was like, Cena, तेरा और मेरा जोड़ी बहुत जमेगी, मेरे को चुनना. समझ गया, समझ गया. And then one more time, Cena locked someone up and he put Khali as the watchman. And he said, ये बाहर नहीं निकलना चाहिए. I forgot who he put inside. But Cena is, having a very close bond with,
the great Khali, the playboy, I guess.
yeah, somebody I don't remember exactly. So we are moving through the early 2000s. Now it's your turn.
Okay, now considering like we have limited time and I've crunched a few, I've crunched a 20-year long run into like a few moments. Probably piece that I'm missing of you. Exactly. So now we are moving straight to 2010. CM Punk versus John Cena. When CM Punk was still a member of Straight Edge Society, he has this mask in this man. So if I'm not wrong, there was Serena Deeb and Luke Gallows on the. There were both of them at the ringside, and this movement is more about the people who were hijacking the show that day. 8 rookies from NXT that went by the name the Nexus, which is probably my favorite faction of all time.
Say that there's nobody on this planet who hates Nexus more than me.
Okay, but which Nexus are we talking about?
If I say that out loud, then they will be behind my asses again. And I don't want, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. And I don't want any trouble.
Okay, okay. So now we are talking about the Nexus, the OGs. No,
Yeah.
not someone we met after getting to the center of geography of India.
Someone with God complex and other things, but people who are NXT rookies, we are talking about Wade Barrett and the people, right?
Yeah, Wade Barrett, Gabriel Otanga, uh, Daniel Bryan, etc.
Slater.
So that was one of those few moments where we know that everything is scripted, but again, like it felt like probably they went a little out of hand. Like probably they did a lot more than what they were supposed to do. Like they removed the canvas off of the ring and the wooden what do we call them? The wooden part was like out in the open. That was like apparently Fit Finlay's idea for these people to go. And if you remember, Daniel Bryan spit on John Cena's face, which was a big no-no in WWE, but was very common in the Indies. And he also chokes Justin Roberts with a tie. So again, the follow-up was not really that good when Team Cena bit Nexus. That shouldn't have happened.
2010.
Yeah. But I would say the starting of it was really amazing. Like again, one might say that these are not John Cena's moments and all, but I'll respectfully say that maybe if it wasn't John Cena, the moments wouldn't have felt the same. If someone disagrees to this, I would want to
Kiss
respectfully
my
say,
ass.
fuck off. Fuck you. If it was anyone other than Cena, these moments wouldn't have felt the same. So yeah, now your turn.
Just arrived, it felt like someone switched the tone of WWE overnight. The attacks were violent and the silence in the arena felt wrong after each of those were after each massacre. And it looked like the old order was actually in danger. And everybody remembers the story about in the SummerSlam 2010, what you just said. And after that, Nexus never felt like they were unbeatable, and something cracked. The chaos that was happening, it lost the direction and the fear drained out slowly. Again, years later.
And to John Cena's credit, he was apparently very adamant that Cena needs to win the SummerSlam match. But
Yeah.
only like hours after the whole saga happened, he admitted that he was wrong. To his credit.
And after SummerSlam 2010, we'll go to the next year, 2011, which is one of my favorite years.
See where you're going.
Yeah. See, I talked about Edge, who was my favorite character, favorite wrestler at that time. Now you just come back to 2011. So now my age, I have aged a little bit. I got to know about the world a little bit. And personally, I found this one character, CM Punk, and his straight edge philosophies. And that resonated with me very much. And if I talk about like right now, after 25 years, I still follow some of the principles that the straight edge people were living. And so that is a personal connection that I have with him. Like whatever his thoughts, his philosophies, that is like a personal connection. And he is always a face of rebellion. He is the voice of voiceless. So that guy, and that time in WWE, where like kayfabe was already killed and everything was heavily scripted, but he was one guy who never played with the rules. If you know about the pipeline promo, which was sorry, the pipe bomb promo, yes, which shook the world, shook the wrestling world at that time, because he wrote something, he showed it to Vince, it got approved, but at the time in the stage, he went off track, he went off script, and he spoke his heart out, and everybody present in that arena on that night, they resonated with so much. And it never felt like a wrestling rivalry. It felt like a workplace argument that suddenly went live on national TV. So Punk spoke like someone who had been bottling things up for years. And Punk spoke like Cena spoke like the guy who actually had to keep the lights on, and that contrast made everything feel dangerous. And it reached its height in Money in the Bank 2011, if you remember, and it didn't feel scripted at all. Punk winning and leaving through the crowd is the most Punk thing that he can ever do. And although, after a few weeks he came back, that's a separate story. But that moment as a kid, I was blown away because it was a clash of philosophies and they were equal supporters for both the sides. And that is such a electrifying moment. And, even when Punk came back, the trust, never fully returned. And when he finally walked out, truly in 2014, then it didn't feel that shocking. It felt like a delayed echo of something that has already broke out years earlier. And this feud actually taught fans that wrestling could feel uncomfortably real within the realms of the scripted things that happened. And it also showed exactly where power actually lived. Like Punk shook the system and Cena was the system. So this was one of the greatest storylines that I have grown up with. Now,
Yeah, and also like this can be like more or less compared with maybe Batman versus Superman, I guess.
yeah,
I haven't watched
was
that
big.
movie, but people tend to like always compare this kind of rivalries with that movie. So I brought that up. And also, like I would say, looking at the character of Cena, you would not really feel like he's the bad guy or something. Like the exact words that Punk said, and I quote now, I don't hate you, John. I don't even dislike you.
You think
It's
about
just that the idea that you're the best, that does not sit with me. So yeah, that those were the exact feelings of mine back then. Like I always loved John Cena. He was really good on the mic. And like in the ring, you can always say that he had only 5 moves, but because he had 5 moves, it gave away a lot of leverage for the other person to do different sets of moves with those 5 moves. And yeah, so like yeah, that rivalry kind of, I would say, like it also happened at a time when there were many storylines which weren't really like how do I call it, which weren't really feeling on point at that time. And that is when the Randy Orton Christian thing happened, and simultaneously this was happening. So it felt like, again, wrestling is fun, man.
feel fun years later. Again, a decade later, it would feel fun in 2023, 2024.
Yeah, yeah. And also, people always talk about pipe bomb, but do you remember this promo where like he has a live contract negotiation segment with Vince, and also John Cena enters in between, and they have a three-way conversation. So that was like, that's one such promo I feel people don't end up talking much about because pipe bomb kind of overshadowed it, but it was a really good 30 minutes television. So yeah.
To acknowledge Paul Heyman because he is the guy, who has built the stars from scratch.
And he was the guy, like Punk was about to be fired, and he was the guy who stopped people from firing him from OVW.
Star Pro.
Ohio Valley.
Shit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he claimed he's a main eventer, and again, Punk like he takes out Paul Heyman's name when he was not in good terms with the WWE in the pipe bomb, and a year later he returns, and that alliance also happens. Okay, then
I'll ask you a
which
question.
we are going next?
I would ask you a question. So, since we are in 2011, next year is 2012, and there was a wrestler who I used to copy a lot in school. Do you know who that wrestler is?
Who?
It doesn't matter who you think that wrestler is. So, the Rock ring. The Rock is such a character who has been like on the epitome throughout the ages. If you talk about WrestleMania, he's the face of WrestleMania throughout the Attitude Era and coming into the Ruthless Aggression. You talk about Austin versus Rock, it already had 3 times. Then there is Hogan versus Rock, which was like an end of an era kind of a match. And then coming through from that pedigree to right now, where Cena is the face of the company, it only made sense like when these two giants will battle each other out. And if you remember that this match was set up 1 year before during the US WrestleMania. Miz versus Cena, and where he comes out, Rock comes out, and he helps Miz actually. From there, the storyline started and ended after 1 year. And just like I felt like I had already watched that match before, Hogan versus Rock, and I kind of got similar feels from this one. Like Rock came back as a global, superstardom with nostalgia wrapped around him, and Cena stood there as a man who never left. And that night in Miami, it turned into a neutral ground where both worlds crashed into each other, and the crowd reaction said everything. I mean, split down the middle, loud on both sides, nothing really long. And the greatest thing was it was billed as once in a lifetime. But the sad part is they should have stuck with that. It's like playing a visual novel. Like there are multiple endings. You choose which one ending you want, which is satisfying you. And similarly, 1 year they have one set of champion. Next year it is just flipped. What are your thoughts on the booking for the next WrestleMania?
Man, what do I say? Like, I get it that Rock, he's like the guy who brings in a lot of eyeballs. But I I feel like in the long term, it came at a cost of
What you feel?
CM Punk walking away. Okay,
And you please
let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I guess I told everything what I wanted to say anyway.
But it is the first WrestleMania, means WrestleMania 2012, which happened in Miami. So that felt like Cena is chasing an approval, and Rock is just collecting one more victory lap in his arsenal of iconic matches. And the second one felt like a correction, means just give the fans what they want.
50-50 booking. Yeah.
And
Let's be honest, it was very evident. Rock had the title, Cena won the Royal Run.
build-up was also very nice, and Rock returning back, and CM Punk, they are fighting. Shield comes in, then they change the title belt. That whole build-up was very nice. But the match itself, I
But
would
again, like in a way, like it felt obvious, right? People who Rock was a part timer, he had to drop the title. John Cena won the Rumble. So yeah, in that sense, I felt like
because
in a
Cena winning the match, it's just the company wanted to lock his position as the guy of this generation, and not some guy who is just filling the gaps between Rock and whoever came next. But
yeah.
I will remember that for a long, long time, because that WrestleMania 2012, it was something else. Everywhere you go, in schools, in colleges, in the streets, everybody is talking about that. And especially the music, the whole event, indeed. It was grand. I will say it is one of my top three WrestleManias that I have watched till now. Watched live during my time.
12 one you're talking about?
Yeah, Miami.
Yep.
I hear voices in my head.
They understand it's up to me. Okay, now let's move to 2013. So, you remember the SummerSlam of 2013? So,
Danny was right for me, because at that time I was watching day and night.
so Daniel Bryan had this match with John Cena, and people did not expect that Cena is going to drop the title. Cena actually ends up dropping the title. The next day, he comes, shows his injury, and tells that he needs to take time off for the surgery. My God, people cheer like anything. So, like, like that was one such place where I felt like the torch passing sort of happened. People badly wanted to see like Royal Rumble being like awarded to Daniel Bryan, which did not end up happening. But at least like they got this moment months before, like Daniel Bryan winning the title again. I know, like it did not last even for minutes because Triple H pedigrees him, Randy comes and all
Storyline,
that. But
the authority storyline was quite good. What would you say?
yeah, I agree. Because the payoff that we had at WrestleMania, like this guy beats two of the four guys of Evolution and then walks away with two belts. Man, that was an awesome feeling. Because if you remember in 2012, he had an 18-second match where like Sheamus comes, Brogue kicks him, walks away with the title. And that is where the whole yes movement wave began, if you remember.
It's a
So
takeover of Raw by the audience. That was one of the coolest.
yeah, exactly. And yeah.
And
Now,
on top, and it's just doing. It's a iconic moment.
yeah, I was going to go to one such takeover segment. So in that whole saga, the Daniel Bryan Authority saga, like there was this moment where like John and Randy had a championship match. The two belts were like uh, being put on the line. So like what do we call it? Like they were pulling the belt towards the ceiling, and it was some sort of a ceremony where they called in all the previous champions, and people people in Washington don't give two fucks. They are chanting for Daniel Bryan. They are gaga for Daniel Bryan. Now John Cena recognizes that this is Daniel Bryan's moment. He takes the microphone, goes to Daniel Bryan. He acknowledges his presence, and he asks him, "Where are you from?" He responds, and then he asks two, three more questions and puts Daniel Bryan over in that segment, even though that segment was actually supposed to revolve around Randy and John. He acknowledges what the crowd wanted. He goes to Daniel Bryan, puts him over. So that felt like a nice moment where he gave his rub to another guy who people wanted to see.
So defined this quality of Cena's has defined him through the years, right? That is why he has earned the genuine respect of so many people.
Now we are on to 2014, and I guess one notable feud that we can talk about was Cena versus Authority, where I'll directly get to the match now here. So you remember, I guess it was Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was up against three. Then I guess right before that, Big Show turns heel. So it's John Cena. He's gone. Dolph is 1 on 3. Somehow he ends up like eliminating two of them.
Absolute cinema.
Exactly. And he's left with Seth, if I'm not wrong. Uh, all the shenanigans happen, all the possible shenanigans, and then finally, when it looks like the story is over, lights go out, and in comes Sting. So I used to watch a little bit of TNA as a kid, so most of the time it used to feel like Sting was the reason for behind me tuning up to watch TNA. So yeah, like that was one such moments which was really my favorite involving John Cena. And do you want to add anything on that, or you want to move forward?
Now we'll move to a time period, which is now we are going to 2016. And during this time, we can call it the US Open Challenge era. And
No, 15 WrestleMania, it like he bet Rusev, and that is when he got the title, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So, when this era started, people were tired. They were tired of the super Cena persona of him. Like, they were tired of the predictability. Like, seeing him kick out every Monday night, kick out at 2 like this. He had a special style of kicking out, shoulders up. So, then something shifted. He showed up every week with that US title, and it meant something personal to him. Suddenly, Cena was not like a final boss, and he was like a guy who was giving other wrestlers a perform to show the world what they could do. And this, like we have spoken throughout our discussion about this one particular quality of John Cena, and that kind of flipped the perception of him. So uh, it's like Cena again, like reinventing himself. Like, I'm going to prove myself again, and that time period was actually, he had multiple feuds with. I mean, it was a like on and off kind of a thing. So nothing was like very concrete or very forthgoing. So he had a psychological rivalry with Bray Wyatt. Then there was Brock Lesnar in the SummerSlam. Then there was Seth Rollins, what you talked about. And there is Kevin Owens, there's Cesaro, and there is AJ Styles. That was like a career-defining feud, and this, like restored Cena's wrestling credibility. So would you like to speak about AJ Styles?
And adding a little to that US Open challenge. So that was a time where I felt John Cena actually added a lot of new moves into his set.
Yes.
So he used to do the springboard stand. That is one move that really sticks into my head all the time. So like his in-ring work felt completely reinvented during that time.
Like there was a like drop that he used to do. There was a bulldog. Then there were other
Yeah,
2-3 different types of lariats.
exactly. Like jumping over the ropes and then clothesline and all that. So yeah, and AJ Styles debuted in the Royal Rumble of 16, if I'm not wrong, and then if I'm not wrong, it was in 2017 Rumble where he like Cena beat AJ, equaling the record of Ric Flair. So if I'm not wrong, he had a series of matches with AJ Styles, probably like 2 or 3, and again, like firstly, AJ, if I'm not wrong, he won the belt like literally months into coming into WWE, and that was the time. As much as I can recall, it felt like maybe something can happen. Like the predictability factor when Cena is in the title picture has always been like very high. Like it's almost evident. The only time it wasn't was back in like 2011, like Money in the Bank. Maybe after that, it was never really like uh, that not non-predictable. So Cena winning that title actually felt good. Like being someone who always chanted Cena sucks. Like at that time, I was not like watching full time, but I heard it from someone and then went and I checked it up on the internet. So there were a few years when I was a little off wrestling, and it was during this time I again started watching wrestling a little. So yeah, and then in the same year he had a feud with Roman. Not really a memorable feud, I would say, but there's just one promo where like a Roman kind of forgets his lines and he calls John Cena pa.
He laughs. He's laughing and saying, "Shut up, Cena. Shut up. It's good,
Yeah,
bro.
that is
You gotta let how to cut it."
he goes off script, calls Cena part-time fake ass bitch, and then Cena retaliates, telling that the only reason we part-timers are called again is because you full-timers don't do their job properly.
Oh.
That was insane, bro. Like it was very evident, like they were going off script, which made that match like it felt a little like intriguing. But yeah, it was evident because Roman was the new Cena. He was the superhero at that time. So we knew Roman is going to win. So yeah.
Since on the topic of AJ Styles, have you noticed that AJ and Cena has such incredible chemistry? Because Cena is a workhorse and he has all the experience that is needed, and AJ has the speed and creativity. So back in that time in 2016 Royal Rumble, the it was like an art. The entire main event, the promotions, everything. It felt like it was again like 2012 WrestleMania. It was like the collision of two worlds. So they were able to like recreate that kind of feeling, and that chemistry, because we have seen that match in 2016 and again now when he had his final match with AJ Styles. That was one of the greatest. People are saying it's one of the greatest display of physical flair in the current era of wrestling. And such.
And also AJ was very big in TNA. And he jumped the ship because like TNA asked him to take a 60% pay cut or whatever. And AJ and John Cena are more or less of same age, as much as I know.
Yeah.
So on paper, they should be like very similar. But as you pointed out, they are very different. Like this guy does the like flips and all those stuff. This stuff.
He's
Like,
more fun, bro. Like his persona is
yeah,
flat, you know.
yeah, all the aerobics and all. So and Cena is more of has always been more of a promo guy. So each of them pushed the other one in the aspects they were strong in. And it kind of leveled up both of them. I felt that one feud.
We should also keep this in mind that Cena is aging through all this time. So he was like no more like a corporate superhero. He was now a respected veteran, and in this time, he stopped like being the guy on the posters, and he became like all these new people who are coming in. It can be Kevin, it can be AJ, it can be Cesaro at that time. So he is like going, playing it dirty, like going into the field with everybody, and he is not wrestling just for status. He's like wrestling for the sake of wrestling. So that kind of in that's what he was talking about. Like it's a renaissance of Joker. The next ones. He took risk. He took losses. He took beatings. He put people over, and his in-ring work improved a lot. And he's open to being vulnerable. That is the when John Cena has reached that stage. Like when you see him and you can look at you're looking at a future Hall of Famer. So now, back now in 2017, also the feud continued with AJ Styles, and it was like unfinished business which they are finishing. And do you remember like the Firefly Fun event with the Fiend?
Firefly House. Yeah. This was in 2020, right? Like the lockdown hit.
We have jumped the guns a little bit. So
Yeah, but
2017 was
18, it was the Undertaker feud. Like, I don't think so. We should really like talk about.
like 2017 something interesting happened. It was the 16 title run. He tied Ric Flair's world record, and he had one more feud with Randy Orton during this time.
Oh, okay, Randy was also getting close, right? He also had like maybe, yeah.
And so
Like
there was also a thing
probably
of
he had
Grand Slam, like who is
13
going
by
to win the
then.
Grand Slam first. So I think now we can shift to 2018.
18, it was the Undertaker feud, and I don't.
It was the time when John Cena was doing full-on movies, and he had become a proper puzzle. And he was not chasing momentum anyway. Just
exact thing.
Just drop in,
What John Cena hated back then.
drop in, collide, and disappear.
Yeah.
Like there is no weekly grind.
Like a proper part time, proper part timer by then. Like,
the greatest KLPD moment, I will say, the thing that he was speaking about, the Undertaker squash match. Like this was a dream match. People were talking about it for so many time, and 3 minutes,
exactly.
it's gone.
His entrance was longer than like the time duration for which the match went. Actually, yeah, bro. I felt like that match should have happened a lot. Like again, it happened. I am aware that a series of matches happened between the Undertaker and John Cena, but I don't think so. The persona of Undertaker evolved that much by then, and also the persona of John Cena. So that was a missed opportunity, and they like made that match happen a lot late. I felt.
Undertaker was talking about this in a backstage interview. Like he knew he was like Vince came and told him it's going to be a squash, and he's like, "What the hell, man? People have been waiting for this so many years, and you're saying it's a squash." Well, no, it's a squash.
And I never understood. Like John Cena, it felt like his character had shades of heel at that point. He was a little bit of heel back in 2012 when he was like all that Zack Ryder saga happened. Then even during this time, it felt like he's tending towards a proper heel turn. Never happened again. The gun was like they jumped the gun only years later. So now we are in 2019. I don't think so.
See, now something interesting has happened. So now COVID has happened. And like most other industries, WWE also had to adapt themselves accordingly. And they had done some interesting things in WrestleMania, which are like pre-recorded matches. And one of them was the Firefly Funhouse. And that was one of the best productions, I would say, one of the best productions WWE has ever made. Because it was like a public autopsy of John Cena's career. Because, every version got dragged. Like the rapper, superhero, villain, which people never got, the heel that you were talking about, the golden boy, and also the guy who always won. So like he erased John Cena. That was one of the most interesting concepts about this match, I would say.
Yeah. It is a match which cannot exactly be called a match, but it was super fun to watch. Like there's no pause. John disappears all of a sudden. We don't know what happened, but it was really fun to watch that. And after 2020, he returned in 21. That match with Roman did not really click that much, I
It
would
was
say.
no, SummerSlam 2021.
Yeah. One, two, three. And he does that a dozen times in that match. I don't know. Like, it did not
What
really.
would you what would you say about Austin Theory? Just the WrestleMania after that 39.
Even that was one such match we did not really click with me, to be honest. Like, the intent of John was to put Austin over, but at the same time, Austin's victory felt very like diluted because of the amount of shenanigans that were pulled off in that match. So yeah, his interference in 40 was really good though, where like he comes, The Rock comes, The Undertaker comes. Then that was fun.
Pure cinema, man. And look at the long-term storytelling. Like from the starting from the Shield days, they have like the way they have connected the two things. That was pure cinema.
Yeah, exactly. The moment Roman has the chair in his hand, he has two options. He can hit Cody or he can
Win
hit
the
Roman.
match or take revenge.
And he goes for it finally. After
That shows that shows the fallacy of mankind. Like you can have the greatest thing in the palm of your hands, but still until at your personal vendetta is not satisfied, then everything feels faded.
exactly.
And now, interestingly enough, this brings us to the retirement tour of John Cena. The last time is
Yeah.
the retirement
The
era.
last time is now. The last time is now. Okay. So I guess here we need to like change the gears a little bit. So now I would say let's talk a little about, like let us say you have the magic wand in your hand. Uh, how would you book his retirement tour maybe?
See, the one
Or
concept that
like specifically if you want to book the heel run in between, how would you do that?
I would do is one of the most fun things that I liked is Cena turned heel. So that would be my focus. But this one, like audience was going crazy when Cena became heel. But I would structure it in such a way it should feel like a betrayal. No colorful gear, no smiling promos, no comedy. It will be like cold logic and controlled violence. It should John Cena wouldn't cheat, wouldn't beg, but he would justify everything with his persona, which is like discipline and legacy. And the promo tones would feel like a disappointed father, talking to the locker room that he has built. That was the kind of tone I wanted to do. Like John Cena has got everything that is there to win. So now he is like a disappointed father. I would say a little bit like how the alpha male character of Brock Lesnar was there. Like the way he used to say the promos, like he used to be, "What are you doing, man? We should go hunting. We should go fishing." Like that kind of a vibe. And
Canadian alpha males.
he goes, "Let's go fishing." Sami Zayn says that I am vegan. So the run would be short, damage would be heavy, and the fans wanted a heel run because they wanted chaos. So my logic is that we will give them such a thing which will be very quiet and very uncomfortable. And coming to the bookings, that we will come slowly towards the later part of the segment, but I would like to hear about your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about the heel turn again, the heel turn, absolute cinema. I would say like Rock doing it, and then the look in Cena's eyes when he looks into the eyes of the Rock, and then comes back low blows. That was really, really awesome. And at the end, if you remember that picture where he holds the title like this, Travis Scott on his right and Dwayne on his left, three keep staring at the camera. That was really good.
It was
But
crazy.
what happened later was what I was disappointed with because, like, as kind of Cena that we know, he does make a wish appearances. He makes sure that the kids that wanted to meet him, they are happy and all that, right? So I wanted them to record a video where he does a make a wish appearance and says "fuck you" to the kids. That was something I wanted to watch.
That's what I'm
Uh,
talking about.
and this precise opinion that came into my head, this came when I was watching Ariel Helwani. You know Ariel Helwani. So he's a MMA journalist who also covers pro wrestling. So he was telling his opinion on uh, how the heel turn should have been capitalized on. So I felt like this was one thing they should have definitely done. Completely change his gear. And I like that blackout stuff that they did, but and also the song should have been changed. And there's this song "Bad Bad Man" in the album that, if you don't know, John Cena is a platinum rapper for real. She has an album
And I have
that
listened to his
that
albums.
has the, yeah. So there is a song "Bad Bad Man." Probably that should have been used during this time, I felt. And yeah, and there was this one promo where he mentions that this whole relationship, it's a dysfunctional
Yeah.
relationship, where he points out to a certain kid. um, I like that part actually, but he never really explained why he had this alliance with The Rock and all, which they should have done. And apparently WWE's deal with Travis Scott fell apart, and Dwayne never really showed up after that. Coming to the match at WrestleMania, like it felt really diluted to me, because it is very difficult for me to believe that a rapper is the reason behind Cody Rhodes, who whose whose storyline culmination was one of the best ever. A rapper is the reason that this guy is losing his title. That was completely non-believable to me.
Like narrative aside, I think nobody has told Travis that this is like not real fighting, because if you see the clip, he smacks the shit out of Cody, man.
Exactly. My goodness. And bro, like I felt this was like a very incomplete match because Dwayne did not show up. And Cena claims that, like, when there was this promo where Cody says that at least people never chanted "You can't wrestle to me," which is a really awesome moment. And then John Cena retaliates, telling that I don't need to wrestle to beat you. And he, if I'm not wrong, he just slaps on his younger brother and leaves. So, if you see the match, right, like Cena is capitalizing the whole time. I felt like the match should have been planned in a way where Cena doesn't really fight, but at the same time, the incidents happen in a way that Cody is somehow down all the time, and then Cena beats him, which was something I felt should have been done.
And it also felt diluted because just a year back we have seen such a cinematic event, and comes to our expectations are that high. And now coming to this one,
Exactly.
it really, killed the entire energy. And
And
throughout that entire run, each of scene, especially the recent ones, the recent matches, like Cena's matches feel more like poetry, and the way he gives tributes, like copying the moves of other people. Like he has done the Spear of Edge, then a lot of other things I don't exactly remember, but those matches don't feel like it's a actual, he's gone there on the ring and he's just sweating it out. It feels more like a smooth motion, a poetry that is unfolding. And
also, like, this idea struck me when I've seen his matches with Dominic, which, by the way, I really loved. So it would have been fun if John Cena ended up tagging with Dominic and they feud with Rey Mysterio. I felt this could have been done while he was still a heel.
he has mad respect for Rey Mysterio. Actually, we are on the both on ring and off ring, and he has said also, like because of the respect that I have for your father, I would just let this slide. But I think Dominic Mysterio and John Cena will form. That is a missed opportunity. That tag team, we deserve that tag team.
Mm-hmm. I got this idea only when I was watching those matches, and Cena was pulling off some Eddie Guerrero stuff. He does this when he like retaliates with some cheating after Dom. That was fun. Okay, so now we have talked about how we'll like add minutiae to the heel run so that the heel run on an overall feels better, right? So, is there any change that you want to make to the retirement tour as a whole? Like, did you feel like there were certain matches that we deserved but we did not get during the
You know,
retirement tour?
we already have seen some off the ring, off screen, backstage interviews and podcasts, and so we already have some news or ideas about all the things that went behind this. Like John Cena went, he asked for 400 dates, I think, somewhere around that figure, but Vince said no, and he ultimately got, I think, 60 or something, and that actually was beneficial for him because he was trying to commit a longer period of time, but because he got 60, so he could like do the film work as well as wrestling part time, so that was beneficial to him. But I was just wondering that what would have gone through his mind, like if he's asking for 400 dates, like what exactly is he planning? That I guess we wouldn't even know until he decides to reveal in some other podcast again one day.
Again, he actually did the Chris Van Vliet. You know Chris Van Vliet?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, like he's the biggest interviewer in the wrestling space exclusively. So, he did a podcast and I've watched segments of it. Like, per what John Cena claimed, he never really like asked for matches. Like, he never really picked his opponents, apparently. He always like looked as to what he's being given and he tried to make the best out of what he was given. So, like this is why I sometimes wonder. Like, see, he asked 400 dates, but as per what he told, doesn't look like he had something in his mind. He was just wanting WWE to give him a few guys so that he ends up working with them, then ends up putting them over. So sometimes I just wonder, what if Cena had the intent to pick his own opponents and like choose his own storylines. Sometimes I just wonder what would have happened.
Growing up, we have seen people like Edge, then a few years later, Daniel Bryan. And there are other examples also. And even if we talk about the broader wrestling scenario, so there are a lot of people who have to forcefully retire, or there are other incidents as well, Chris Benoit and other things. A lot of things happen. But the way John Cena has handled this, or the entire company has handled this, so, as a fan, it will not feel like you're being robbed. You will feel like there's a strange comfort in this entire thing. It gives you a closure. Like you already know that, okay, so many days are left, and that's how the content is also coming into the social media. Like there is a someone who is posting a particular thing, like this much days until John Cena retires, this much like that. So it has become like a movement. It is a living, breathing entity. His retirement. So this aspect of that entire thing I liked a lot. I also like the concept of having a tournament for the final, what do you say, final opponent. And
Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo.
and see, if a few days back, this is a legit thing. Okay, so there was a post by WWE, I think Wrestle Addicts or something like that. So they had made a post, and they said that name any random wrestler who has created an impact on you, something like this. And I wrote Zack Ryder, and I was just chilling. 2 days later, suddenly I open the Instagram and I'm seeing the WWE's post right at the top, and it's Zack Ryder, but he's Matt Cardona, whatever he is. He's just standing like
He's
this.
same as Zack Ryder actually.
But so that was a crazy moment. Like 2 days back, I was thinking about him, and now this has happened. And by the time I recovered from that, again, Dolph Ziggler drops. So this concept, like we will be having a tournament, and they could have done so much crazy things with this, so many callbacks, so many returns. But I'm happy with whatever has happened. But maybe not happy with the final guy who is facing Cena. Maybe I don't know. I'm not as excited with that. I would have preferred like a younger baby face or any industry veteran, any one of the two. Gunther is like somewhere in the middle, so it's hard to like create a very strong narrative, but I'm still hopeful. Let's see what happens.
Okay, fine. Now that Gunther is the desired opponent, like how would you want the match to go? Like, would you want Cena to go over, or there a certain way you want Cena or Gunther to go over?
See, we
I have.
we had already discussed this a couple of days back, and actually, I liked that idea a lot. And as you said, that Gunther has said that I will make Cena do something which he has never done before. So this will be the most poetic end to his career. Like he taps out and he gives up. And whatever he has stood for all these years, never give up. He finally gives up and passes on the torch. I think that is the most poetic way to end his career.
Yeah, and I feel like you remember it, not exactly the same impact, I would say, but I kind of feel there are parallels between this moment where like Gunther taps John Cena out uh, with Brock Lesnar ending the Undertaker streak. And if you remember, Paul Heyman literally goes for like 2 years straight, claiming that this guy
And ended Paul the industry. And he, there was also like, you know,
and one.
Eat, sleep, break the streak.
Repeat, yeah. So I want Gunther to go into that mode, like completely capitalize on this event where he taps Cena out, and he literally capitalizes over that and goes on for like a year and a half or two, and maybe some random day down the line, someone like Chad Gable comes, shows up, and then points out that yeah, I get that you tapped out Cena, but it's been too much. Like you have been stating this for far too much, and you've gone far too long with this. And then like Gunther then passes the torch to Chad maybe in that moment. And in a way, it's beneficial to Gunther, I would say, for his character because he's the one who retired Goldberg. Now he'll be retiring Cena. So there are two things on which he can capitalize on while doing the microphone work going forward.
You know, it reminds me of Kurt Angle for some reason. Like, I won a gold medal with a broken fucking neck. Similarly, like Gunther.
The reason I said Chad Gable is because I kind of draw parallels between Chad and Kurt Angle. So I felt like maybe Chad versus John was something that would have been fun. If you would have got that match, I felt it would have been fun.
I think this is also like looking at the grand scheme of things. This is also a decent booking. I mean, some people are disappointed, of course, but I think this
we cannot get everything in 36 days. That's true. Mm-hmm.
So now, being a good daddy, I would like to play some games with you as my little kid. So are you ready?
You mean to say I'm a in a maths world?
I'm a you're a boy in a man's world. Now I'm going to manhandle you. Yeah, YouTube.
Just
Don't flag this video out. We're just joking for legal reasons.
I just hope one day we don't end up in a similar spot like how Ranveer Alavadia somewhere and ended up.
That's okay. We cannot guarantee that, but okay. So the game is very simple. You have played this or heard this multiple times. I will give you some scenarios and you will have 10 seconds.
Just for the record, I have no idea that this game is going to happen. This was on the spot. So yeah,
it's something that I wrote while I was taking a dump in the morning.
My goodness.
I was just on my notebook, I was taking a dump and I thought, okay, this is a shit game. Let's play this. So, see, very simple. I will give you some scenarios. You will get 10 seconds to answer. It's like a rapid fire. So, ready when you are.
Yeah, let's go.
Cena versus any influencer at WrestleMania. Who will be that influencer?
I show speed.
Okay.
I show speed.
Okay. Cena managing a heel champion. Who will that champion be?
Oh, Cena managing a heel champion. Oh, man, Dominic.
Okay, Dominic. If you have to choose any other music as John Cena's theme song, what would it be?
Probably Bad Bad Man. Imstep from his album. As I told you, like it would have been a good song for a reload.
Okay. So Cena forming a faction with 3 other rookies who hate him. Who will be those rookies?
Oh, who hate him?
Yeah.
And they should be rookies.
Yes.
Mhm. I would want to say again Dominic Mysterio. Probably Chad Gable. I don't know if Chad hates him, but Chad will be a good fit, I feel. And also Austin Theory, maybe.
Okay. So now this is a very easy one. Okay. So Cena
Man,
signs
this
with AEW.
the constraint is really screwing up with my head, bro.
Hold on. You already have heard the 60% of the question. So Cena signs with AEW for one night only. Who does he face? Easy one.
On this day,
As he
rated R superstar.
Okay, so if Cena debuts a masked character like Kane, what would be that character's main feature or main USP?
USP, he debuts with a mask. Maybe you can't see me. Gets real to a little
You
extent.
cannot see him. Okay, Cena versus R Truth. Decide the stipulation of the match.
Oh,
Cena
stipulation.
versus R Truth.
I have no clue.
You can say anything. Steel cage, Eddie Russell, Extreme Rules.
If Truth wins, Cena agrees that R Truth is his childhood hero, and Truth anyway acknowledges. So, what if Truth wins? What if Truth wins?
Then John Cena adopts him formally as his kid.
Okay, fine. That's good.
Okay, so Cena ends the match in 10 seconds. So who is his opponent?
Cena ends the match in 10 seconds.
Cena loses the match in 10 seconds. Who is the opponent?
Oh, loses.
Yes, lose.
Loses. Man, Gunter can be the one. I will say. But no, not Gunter. Braun, maybe Braun.
Okay, years later, John Cena returns as the doctor of thugonomics. Give him one track that he would rap.
One track that he would rap. Okay, it should be like out and out flex. Man, I would. Can I name an Indian rap song?
Any you can rap, but don't know Cena.
For whatever reason, I want to see him rap "Basti Bounce" by Brotherly.
Okay, final one. Cena announces his final match. Who do you think he would choose if he was given the opportunity?
With the constraint that Edge is in AEW, or
With the constraint.
okay. Hmm. In that case, I guess he'll choose CM Punk. No brainer. Just in case that constraint isn't there, maybe it can be like a fatal four-way: Randy, Edge, John, and CM. It's like all the big four of their generation.
That's like a wet dream, right?
You can say that, yeah.
You know, this is a match for the ages. In age retiring John Cena, that would have been crazy. Unfortunately, we cannot have that, but that's how it is.
That's why we are calling it a fantasy.
A few days back, John Cena was on Joe Rogan, and I think our friend Shastri has something to talk about that.
Yeah, I really like the podcast firstly. So, where do I begin? Maybe like how his Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick came about, I would say. So, he states that like one random day he was in a bus. So he was like a roller coaster tycoon was being played in his laptop. All of a sudden, he listens to a few guys rapping at the back. So he shuts the laptop down, slowly turns, gets there, waits for his turn. Apparently, he filleted all those 12 guys. Then his turn came. So Stephanie took a note of him, apparently, and then like apparently he was on the verge of losing his job. Then Stephanie asked him like, "How could you remember all that?" And this guy told her that it's freestyle. I just make it up. So she wanted him to make something upon her. A risky move always. So he rapped about all the ladies that were around, all the gents that were around, people that were taking the flights, what people were eating. He made a random freestyle out of it, and Stephanie asked him, like, would you do this on TV? And also the way he started with his training. So he was working at a gym. Randomly, he happens to interact with a guy who offers to train John Cena for wrestling. So, like in that podcast, he stated many things which kind of feel like, things that happened by accident. Even this rapping thing leading to the doctor of thugonomics gimmick, like him starting the training. And also, he also happened to have discussed how this "you can't see me" thing came up about. So his brother apparently dared him to do this on television. He had a habit of doing this while talking or rapping, like I don't precisely remember. So it was a dare from his younger brother, younger or elder, I don't remember, but yeah, but his brother. So uh, he, his brother was like, "No fucking way you are going to do that on television." And John was like, "Fuck yes, I'll do that on television." He goes, uh, and he was apparently the Saturday, there was some show that was being telecasted on Saturday, which was a rubbish show, as per John Cena himself. But he called himself Mr. Saturday Night. And then slowly he started doing this in live events. People reacted to it. And then slowly he brought that into the television. And also, mhm, he also mentioned an incident regarding where, like, he screws up something uh, while reading the prompter reads in Mandarin. You might remember that moment where he called Taiwan a country, which on paper isn't really his fault, but he seems to like take accountability for every small action of his, which I felt was really nice. And also, talking about why he learned Mandarin, apparently WWE was at a point where it was big everywhere except China. And China was a huge demographic which they did not want to lose on. So WWE apparently tried getting into China, but the main problem was the language barrier. Like people weren't necessarily so familiar with other people who were communicating in English. So there were three people apparently who volunteered to learn the Chinese, and John Cena was one of them. So even though he was big by this point, like he had multiple world title reigns, he still took a chance that like he volunteered to learn Chinese so that the market expands for wrestling fraternity as a whole. And
That's why, we always say that he's like an out and out company man. He will do everything possible to head the business.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And finally, he talks about like once his last match happens on the 13th of December, people move on, and in no time he'll be forgotten, which I agree with. Because see, like we wrestling fans, we no matter how much we like a certain wrestler, we always want to look to what's next. That is something we want an answer for. The day we stop getting an answer for it consistently, we tend to slowly like go away from wrestling as a whole. We stop watching eventually, right?
Yeah.
So it within no time it's like the build up time for Royal Rumble, and once Royal Rumble happens, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, people are invested in those stories within no time. So I very well agree when he says that people move on in no time. So it is very important that an opportunity comes to you, you take it, else someone is always ready. So I really like that. These were like the few moments that stood out with me after like coming out of watching that podcast.
If you have noticed that there was like no anger, no bitterness. It was just discipline and self control. Like he sounded like a man who has already survived his own fame and kept the lessons without keeping the extra baggage that comes with it. And
Exactly.
like what is interesting is if you look at other such other such incidents or other such interviews of similar nature where somebody's about to retire, somebody's leaving a legacy behind. So there is always a nostalgia factor playing. But in this one, it the how little nostalgia it carried, right? Because he didn't sound like someone clinging to the past. He sounded like someone who already closed that chapter internally before going out to the public and saying goodbye. And I think that clarity is something which takes him to the next level.
And also, like, he has a point when he says that it's always better that you leave when you can still do it, because if you cling on to it for like a few more years and it gets to a point where people would be like, man, you should have left a few years ago. Kind of happened with The Undertaker. Let's be honest. So, I like that.
It's like a big money making machine for them. So like he's old, he cannot move properly, his knees busted, his hips are busted, still you are breaking it year in, year out. So it
Yeah.
was like
And also personally for him, it's better that he leaves at a time where he still has got a decent stock value so that he has some other opportunities once he leaves wrestling. So yeah, I'm happy for the guy.
he is one guy who has given his everything to wrestling, and he not only is one of the most technical wrestlers, but also he's the most respected. You talk about any, you take any person from any promotion, everybody has mad respect for Undertaker. And I think as the years pass on, people will be having a similar image of Cena as well.
Exactly. Do you want to add something regarding the Make-A-Wish appearances and that side of Cena?
So I would like to just share some personal things that I have endured over the years through Cena. So like the image of Cena, the character of Cena, it is like a superhero. Like kids look at him and they feel like, yeah, I want to be like him. Similarly, if you remember back in the day, like Hulk Hogan used to be an American icon. Like he used to be the face of what American aspires to be. So similarly, Cena was took for kids. He has a special bond with the kids. Even there are multiple people in my schools who idolize Cena, his the chants, his clothing style, the words hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up. They sort of, as a young kid, they have based their personality on that. So that is the kind of impact Cena has had over across the entire globe. And one of the interesting aspects is like growing up with him and growing out of him. So like as a kids, we felt like he's a superhero, and as an adults, we started realizing like he started feeling unbeatable, but in a corporate way. And that transition, for some people, it was an emotional awakening in a way. And you don't stop respecting him. You just stop rooting for him in the same way. And one of the biggest burden he has had over through his career is the burden of being constant. People have come, people have gone, but there is one guy throughout our entire childhood, our entire teenage. That one guy was always constant. Injuries, breaks, personal issues, creative resets. But have you seen any sort of things like that with Cena? I have not seen. It's the same schedule, same spotlight, same pressure, and the
There was time
consistency.
where he was supposed to return after a certain duration, and he ended up returning way too early, like
Yeah,
the Royal Rumble 2008, if you
yeah,
remember.
yeah. And also the physical toll, nobody talks about well enough, like neck surgeries, arm surgeries, constant rehab. And he never sold that fragility. He sold the resilience. That was his character. The body, keeps receipts even when the character refuses to acknowledge the damage. And that has happened with him a lot. And now here is the like, he's always the company man. Like I have used this word extensively throughout this entire discussion. And that label works both as a praise as well as an insult, and depending on who says it. For some, it means loyalty, responsibility. For others, it means limitation and control. And both readings have lived side by side throughout the years. And one of the most heartwarming thing is that guy, whatever he's showing on the ring, his usual persona is not too far away from that, and he genuinely likes talking down to younger fans, and he never broke that promise of being a hero who shows up, and a kind of consistency that builds loyalty. And that is like his whole persona is based on the hustle, loyalty, respect, and he has through his actions proved it time and time again. And also at one point of time, he has become self-aware. About the "you can't see me" joke. So there are multiple advertisements, multiple things.
By the way, this is a podcast where three people are conversing with each other.
Yeah, yeah. I think
You can't see me.
yeah, people might be a little bit confused because they might not be seeing the third person, but
Yeah, exactly.
and he also has an interesting relationship with failure, because he lost in front of one of the most hostile crowds, and we have discussed about that throughout this discussion. And he lost in moments where like fans really wanted him humiliated. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. And they also like use that song, John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. But then again, he walked back out in the next week, like loss already had resolved. And that emotional reset speed is really rare. And now I think Cena has more global recognition because of the movies that he's doing. He's reaching territories where previously he might not have been accessible. And so, his retirement will feel like a full circle moment because there will be no, okay, let's do one more run. Like Rock comes in, comes out every day, he has any idea. And similarly, if Roman Reigns is also, he comes 1 month and again, the next 2 months he's not there. Then again, he's coming and again. But this, like one last match, should be like a one last match. And I think that's how it's going to happen. And
But what I've made out of the interview so far looks like he's not doing it again. And I hope he sticks to that.
Yes. And it's hard to rank his career because he didn't dominate through work rate or he didn't dominate through mysteries like a lot of people. He dominated through volume, presence, most importantly, and visibility. So this is a difficult thing to argue about and rank him within the stalwarts. And a lot of people, softened over him because people used to hate him a lot. And the frustration what it had damaged, I think nostalgia will repair it as the time passes. And for 2 decades, the industry always had a default center. And now when he's gone, so now it is going to be open field. Now, whoever.
My time is up. Your time is not. Who takes over? Like I was one of those persons who used to side by the Cena sucks chant. Okay, so it's but like it was never like I disliked Cena. Like the words that CM Punk used in Pipe Bomb, those were my exact feelings. Like I hated this idea that Cena was the best. It was always the case. And like it kind of felt frustrating to see him win always. However, like if he did not win so much, probably Punk beating him in 2011 in that Money in the Bank pay-per-view wouldn't have felt the same. Like if he never kept beating the other stars. And also, I would say the same about the 2013 contest against Daniel Bryan. And so, like, moments like these felt so special because Cena kept beating everyone time and again, and he was kind of shoved down our throats. That made all those moments very special. So, yeah, like, looking back, uh, man, like, I always loved Cena, and I've had people around me who probably did disliked him as well. But I don't think so. Anyone can deny that, like, he was one of the very integrated parts of their lives. So, whoever happened to have watched wrestling, because, like, that character invoked a lot of emotions. It can be any emotion, regardless, it definitely invoked some emotion or the other in people.
That is the biggest quality. It's better to be hated than to be forgotten.
Exactly.
And I used this line in
Because
my speech, if you remember. Some of you will love me, the rest of you hate me, but maybe you will remember me.
it's like the moment you are forgotten, there's no scope. Like I'm talking the business point of view. Like here we have something called Legends contract in WWE. So like depending upon the merch that you sell, you get a percentage of the royalty, right? So the
And
moment
also
you
for
are
video
forgotten,
games, other things.
exactly. So the moment you are forgotten, all these sources of revenue are gone. So it's always better that people remember you in some way or the other.
So I think we have come to the very tail end of our podcast. So Shastri, any parting words to our listeners, our viewers?
So yeah, the Never Seen 17 is coming to an end. So my time is up. Your time is now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our first episode of the LMB podcast, the Resurrected LMB. Please tune in on Saturday night's main event. You can watch it on Peacock. It's the final match of a legend.
Hey, we are not living in USA. Come on, you are saying Peacock, Sony Sports Network.
This is why we need a Shastri, because we need the Desi energy. That is why he's the creative and I'm the producer. Okay, so tune into Sony Live or anywhere, whichever platform.
I wish it's scheduled at morning 6:30 a.m. So yeah,
We're definitely watching that match.
December we'll know. Yeah, I definitely will.
And we
Sunday morning.
want all of you to join and let's bid farewell to an icon who has been such a
Yes,
integral part of our,
absolutely.
like, of our childhood.
And this is not sponsored. Sony is not paying us any money. It's just that we love the Never Seen 17.
Yeah, but if Sony, if you want to pay us money, then we are ready broke.
Yeah,
We will say all the good
absolutely.
things
Come
about
on.
it. You know, fuck everybody, fuck Microsoft, fuck Xbox. Sony, you are my real love.
Yeah, how about Netflix? Because that's where the rest of the content is.
You know, they are rich bitches, so it's difficult to manipulate rich bitches.
I guess we have said on the note quite a few times.
Shall we end Shastri? What do you think?
Yeah, we should.
Doesn't matter what you think. All right. See you, everybody. Good night. Have a good time.